Today I'm going to be showing you how I straighten my naturally curly hair at home with no frizz. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ariel. I feel like I finally perfected my straight hair routine. I know it can be kind of difficult to get that like perfectly silky smooth straight hair look, especially if you do have coarse curly natural hair like me. So I thought I would just show you my routine and share all of the products and tricks and tips that I have to hopefully help you get the same results. First things first, I always start with clean hair. So I just finished washing my hair. I did a nice thorough cleanse. I deep condition it, so now it is clean, very important, and it is like properly hydrated and moisturized, which is also very important. And then the first thing I do immediately after washing my hair is put in some leave-in conditioner. This is my all-time favorite one, Aunt Jackie's Quench Moisture Intensive Leave-in Conditioner. Stuff just works so well. It's like the perfect base product. And since I am straightening, I don't want to do a lot. It's kind of just to add a little bit more moisture and also help lock in all the moisture that I put in with the deep conditioner. Just make sure my hair is staying hydrated, which I find to be crucial when I'm straightening my hair especially. My hair is just like chronically dry. If you have curly hair, you know what I'm talking about. It just needs all of the moisture it can get. Okay, so leave-in conditioner is in. Now I'm actually gonna use another sort of leave-in conditioner. The Olaplex number 6. They call this a leave-in styling treatment, but it says adds moisture, strengthens, and reduces frizz for up to 72 hours. Game changer. I honestly didn't know if Olaplex was gonna be worth it when I started using this, but it has really changed the game for me, especially when it comes to like straightening my hair and getting that silky smooth result while protecting my hair from damage. Then I'm gonna go in with the Olaplex number 7 bonding oil, and I actually just add this to the little bit of number 6 that I have in my hand. Just a few drops. I should really section my hair, but I'm usually too lazy, to be honest. So I just like use my fingers, really try to work it in. I think the shorter your hair is, the more you can get away with not sectioning, but like if you have super long or super thick hair, then it's definitely easier and you'll get better results if you section and then apply product to each section. Now that that product's in, I'm going to detangle it. This is just a detangling wet brush from Luxie Hair. And by the way, I will link everything that I'm using in the description box. You should check that out if you're interested. And I always start at the ends and work my way up. Just prevents breakage and tangles. Now, this is when I usually put in a little bit of heat protectant, even though the Olaplex number 7 does protect, I think it's up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, which is crazy, but I just always feel like it's not quite enough because I just did like 4 drops of that. So just as an extra precaution, because to me heat protectant is the most important thing. This is the one I have been using. This one is cheap and it does the job. But yeah, I just sprayed this all over. Again, sometimes I section just to be a bit more thorough, but my hair is also drying really fast right now, but I found that if it dries too much before I start blow drying, then I also don't get as good results. So I'm trying to like work fast. Heat protectant is in. All of my products are in now. That's pretty much all I use for products. I like to keep it light when I'm straightening my hair because I find that if I use too many products, then it just weighs my hair down and I don't get as good results. It can look kind of like greasy or heavy and like I just don't get as good results. Usually just stick to like 3-4 products max. I always say the most important, if there's only one product you want to use, make it heat protectant. Don't want to be getting heat damage, and you will if you don't use heat protectant. Now I'm just going to section my hair in the middle all the way down to the back of my neck, and this is where sectioning does actually become kind of necessary. As you can see, my hair is starting to get bigger, so if I don't section when I blow dry, there's going to be way too much hair to work with. Okay, so I have my 4 sections. I'm going to start in this back one. Quickly detangle each section again, make sure it's still free of any tangles. So now it's time to blow dry, and this is what I have been using for like a year, the Revlon One Step dryer brush. This does get very hot, so I just want to mention that I only ever use this on the low setting. It has cool, low, and high. I only ever use the low setting, never the high setting. I feel like that could definitely burn your hair. I've tried it on my hair and I couldn't even like touch my hair after, so that's not a good sign. Only ever use it on the low setting, but this works really well to straighten my hair. Like I feel like this gives me a good starting point before I go in with the flat iron, so I don't have to like use as high of heat with the flat iron. I don't have to like go over it as many times. It's just like really starts it off on the right track. So I love using this, and I find what works best when you're using the Revlon brush, especially if you do have curly hair like me. Focus on that root area, make sure that you really smooth out those curls like right up against your scalp before you move on to the rest of the strand. Sometimes I will do a few, like run it through the strand a few times before I do this, but I always make sure that the roots are good before I go in and work on like the rest of the full strand. And then I do kind of give the ends a little bit of a bevel, but I am going to be straightening it after this, so I don't worry too much about like the shape of it. I'm just trying to make sure that the full strand is nice and smooth. So this is what the first section looks like. As you can see, it's not like perfectly smooth because I'm not like trying to do a blowout or anything. This is just get it prepped for the straightener, and it takes so much work out of the flat ironing process, so I really like this technique. Usually when I finish each section, I'll take one of my little croc clips and just clip the end to prevent it from like shrinking up, because that can happen sometimes, and then when I get to the end of it, my hair is already like shrinking. I don't want that. So just it keeps all of the ends contained, and it also helps prevent you from redoing certain pieces because you know that everything that's clipped has already been dried. I grabbed my spray bottle because my hair's drying just a bit too much. One full section done. Taking a quick break to clean this blow dry brush because I just realized how much hair was stuck in here. Oh, it's really disgusting. I also want to mention that you can definitely use a regular blow dryer and a blow dry brush or a round brush, but the reason why I like using the Revlon is because it has the mixed bristles. So the boar ones help me get a way more smooth result than if I were to just use a regular round brush, and then the plastic bristles help to like penetrate and detangle your hair as you go, which you can do with a blow dryer and a brush, but this is easier. Okay, so for bangs, I like to put as much shape into the bangs when I'm blow drying as possible. Does that make sense? I like to put as much shape as possible into the bangs when I'm blow drying so that I don't have to work so hard with the flat iron when it comes to that point. So here's how I do the bangs. This is what I have now. Moving on to the flat iron now. I'm going to turn this baby on. And let's first talk about the temperature, okay? I don't usually go over 380. I find that that is the perfect amount of heat to where I can really smooth it out and get it that silky bone straight without frying my hair. Because even though I have heat protectant in and I've protected my hair, you still can damage your hair if you're using like 400, maybe not 400, but if you're using like 450 super hot heat, you can still cause a lot of damage with a flat iron. So I always say start slow and you can always work your way up, but you might be surprised how low of a heat you can get away with and still get really good results. Temperature is important. And I also always like to give my flat iron a quick wipe, literally just using the t-shirt that I dried my hair with before I actually put it on my hair, because sometimes you might find that it's like sticking as you're trying to straighten it, and that's usually just because there's like product buildup on the flat iron, but that can also cause damage to your hair. So just give it a quick wipe. I do it every single time, and now I know that it's clean and it's not gonna like damage my hair or like transfer any of that gunk from my straightener to my hair. Take a small section from the back of my neck. Actually, I always forget to put more heat protectant in, so I'm gonna do that first. I did already put that in, but I also like to just put a little bit more in before I straighten, because in my mind that layer of heat protectant is already set into my hair from the blow dryer. So now if I go in with a flat iron, it's still technically protected, but I just like to be as precautious as I can. So now this is also a really important step, using a comb. This is usually called the chase method, where you put something on your hair, either a comb or a brush, or there's actually like tools made for this that kind of like clamp down your hair and smooth it out before you go over it with your flat irons, because you're gonna see how I do that. But that is also a very important step in my routine, because if I don't do that, there's probably going to be some little micro knots somewhere in there that are now just getting like flat ironed straight into my hair. So I always use a comb and use the chase method, straighten out my root a little bit before I do the rest of the strand, and for that I don't use a comb. I just go right up to my root. And the chase method also means that you don't have to go over your hair a bunch of times, which is really bad for it, and it's just not necessary. So when I do it like this, I only have to go over it once or twice, and it's good. Smooth. Same thing over here, roots first. Again, if you have curly hair or even wavy hair, you know the struggle of having like bumpy roots. Like if you don't get those roots straightened out and like pressed, you're gonna have some funky looking roots at the end. So I always do the roots first. So now I just continue taking pretty small sections. I try to keep them like half an inch or so, maybe an inch. Just a small section, small enough to where I know the flat iron is gonna like fully smooth out that amount of hair, if that makes sense. And this is why I love using the Revlon before I do this, because my hair is already pretty darn smooth. So this is really just like perfecting it now. Definitely used to take me longer to do this before I got the Revlon brush. Sometimes I do have a little bit of a bumpy section left at my root, and so then I'll just take my straightener and gently go over those parts in like smaller sections. So soft. I'm telling you guys, I've been straightening my hair a lot lately, but my hair has honestly been feeling healthier than it has in years. So this method is tried and true. I can tell you for a fact that it works, and my hair is healthy, even though I'm using heat on it. Also shout out Olaplex, because I think that's also a big reason. I know some people don't like Olaplex or like don't want to use products with a lot of silicones, which Olaplex does. Yeah, silicone is 30. Here's the thing, I think that it protects my hair better than a lot of other products that I've tried. And like I said, my hair is healthier than it's been in a long time, so I completely trust Olaplex and it works for me. It doesn't mean it'll work for everyone, but it does definitely work for me, and I do recommend that people at least try it if they're struggling with like any damage or dryness, because that's my main issue, is like my hair is just so freaking dry. So usually once I get around my ear area, that is when I will change my sectioning just a little bit. Sectioning it definitely isn't the same every time, but I do always try to be very precise. And even if I'm not doing the exact same section, I'm always doing small sections. I guess another thing I should mention is that I always try to keep my flat iron moving at like a steady pace. I don't want to go too slow because then I might be damaging my hair, but I also want to go too fast because then I'm not going to thoroughly straighten it and then have to go over it a second time or a third time. So I try to just keep it moving at a steady pace, but you don't want to ever like stop on one section, because then that spot wherever you stop it is getting direct heat for a long time, which can cause damage. Okay, so now I have this basically bang section left. I tried to think about how much volume I want to, so like I'm looking at this back section and I'm thinking I want to do at least a little bit of it all back so that I get a bit more volume, you know, back there. And then these ones I will mostly just do to the side, and then I also want to keep a bit of that swoop in the bang. Also, another reason why you don't want to hold your flat iron on the same spot is because you'll end up with little dents. Just remember that, because I almost just did that up here. That's why you want to keep your flat iron moving. And now this is basically just bangs that I have left. I like to take slightly smaller sections for the bangs just because this is around my part, so I really want to make sure that those roots are nice and smooth. And usually what I'll do is straighten it the same as I have been until I get to about halfway or closer to the end. And then I will start to sort of do a little swoop. Not much, because I don't want it to be like a full-on bevel, but I just want it to have some body. Usually it's kind of inevitable too with the bangs to avoid getting any of those like crimp lines, because I'm trying to put so much of a shape in there. There's usually at least one. I think that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with this. Definitely have a few bumps in there, but that's what happens when you have curtain bangs. Gotta finesse them a little bit. To finish this whole style off, I always like to go in with a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna just go back in with the Olaplex number 7 bottling oil. This is my favorite one to use after I finish straightening, because I know it's gonna help seal my hair cuticle, and it's also really good for getting rid of any flyaways. Comb it all through. And that is pretty much it, you guys. The one thing I forgot to mention is my flat iron. I use a flat iron with titanium plates, which are usually better for people with like coarse curly hair. So I love mine. I've been using this for so many years and I love it. This one is by Paul Mitchell. It's the Neuro Smooth flat iron. Love this. Definitely recommend. But I think ceramic is the most common for flat irons, which also works well. It just kind of depends on your hair type and like the results you're trying to get. But yeah, you guys, as you can see, there's no frizz in my hair. It feels soft, shiny, smooth. It feels so good. This routine has changed the game for me. All these products, tools, my flat iron, they all make such a big difference in how my hair comes out. I'm always happy with the results. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful in some way. Again, I will make sure to link all the products in the description box, so make sure you check that out if you're interested in anything I use. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here, and also give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It does really help out my channel and I appreciate it. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you have any thoughts or questions or any videos that you'd like me to do next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.